have a spider. Hello, spider.
Feliz Cinco de Mayo and happy Taco Tuesday. Anyone else thinks it's unfortunate that the year we have Taco Tuesday and it's on Cinco de Mayo, we're stuck in quarantine? Alright, well, while I do not support the appropriation of Mexican heritage as an excuse to go out and get wasted, I do like to use Cinco de Mayo as an excuse to either cook some Mexican food or just have some tacos. Or this year, share my taco salad recipe with everyone. She's not Mexican by any means, but she's pretty delicious. Okay, so to get started, we're actually gonna head out to the backyard and grab some of our ingredients from our garden. We are fortunate enough to have a Patrick who grows a few of the ingredients in the backyard already, and then make sure to wash everything. All right, so now here are all of our ingredients that we need. I'm using canned beans in this recipe, but I'm making sure that they're low sodium because it is ridiculous how much salt can be in canned food. I am trying to learn how to make beans from scratch, but for now, canned will do. I'm not exactly sure how much of everything I use because I usually just eyeball it, but for the purpose of this video, I would say about 3/4 of a pound of these mini peppers. The red, yellow, and orange peppers are sweeter and I like them for this dish, but green bell pepper is just fine. Fun fact, all the red and yellow peppers that you see are actually just green peppers that are ripened. Alright, so first you're going to cut off the top of your peppers and use a small paring knife, I think they're called, to help take out the seeds, and then cut your peppers into strips. I like them in longer strips, but when Patrick cooks this, he does them in smaller strips like this. It's a little easier to cut that way, and if you are new to using knives or just lazy, you can cut them this way. Garlic! Right, I love garlic, so when I make this, I put a lot of garlic. This is all the garlic we have in the fridge right now, but usually I would put a few more cloves. I learned how to crush the garlic like this from Bon Appetit, but I'm scared to just whack the knife like they do, so I usually just slowly crush it. And see this, and see how it slipped right there? That's why I just do it slowly. Alright, so this is a microplane. Thanks, Patrick. I usually cut my garlic, but I'm feeling a little lazy today, so I'm going to use a microplane. Plus, the more you break it up, the more garlicky it becomes, so win-win. This smells great. Okay, moving on to my onion. Anyway, here's a tip. Have a plate or a bowl next to your workstation to put your scraps in so that you don't have to keep walking back and forth to the trash. Yeah. Alright, there are probably better ways to cut an onion, but I like when they are in tiny strips. They cook a little faster and I just find them nice to look at. Is that weird? I also break them up a little when I'm done cutting so that I don't get clumps of onions that don't cook all the way through. Okay, done. To get the most aesthetic out of your cooking, put everything into bowls when you're cutting it. Sometimes I'll even do the spices in their own little bowls, but not today. Alright, so usually I use about 2 mushroom containers, which is about 16 ounces. It's 8 ounces a container, but we only had 1 in the fridge today, which is okay. What I like about this dish is that it's an easy way to use up all the vegetables in your refrigerator when you need to. So sometimes if we have a lot of peppers left over, we put a lot of peppers or lots of mushrooms or kale. So the recipe changes a little from dish to dish. Also, another good tip is if you don't eat meat, you can cut the mushrooms into tiny pieces and then fry them up with some liquid aminos to make kind of like a meat substitute. The best one are the creminis or the mini portobellos. Obviously, it's not going to taste exactly like meat. That's not the point. But it does taste really good. Alright, kale. Now, we don't mind the stems, so we just chop through it. But if you don't like the stems, they can be bitter sometimes. You can just easily take them off like this. But be careful, because apparently some kale has tiny hairs that I find to be pretty pokey, and they hurt my little fingies. Or maybe it's just a mutation in our garden. I don't know. Haven't seen it before, but it's here and hurts my little fingers. Alright, there's no specific way to cut kale, at least not for this dish. It all cooks down anyway, so I'm just gonna bunch it up and slice. I think the addition of all this greenery is what makes this dish more healthy versus like regular taco meat or whatever. You're getting a lot of greens in this one. Again, I don't have an exact measurement as I usually just eyeball it, but I would say I'm using about 1.5 to 2 packed cups of chopped kale this time. Now you don't have to use kale if you don't like it. I've also done it with spinach, collard greens, chard, cabbage, whatever you like. I just like kale, and Patrick is a magician at growing it. And you can like mix it up, put a little bit of everything if you really want to. Oh, and Patrick just brought some cilantro from the garden. Didn't even know we were growing it. Yum. So that's it with the cutting. So now we're gonna move on to cooking. This is actually a pretty quick dish to come together once everything is cut up. I usually cook it on medium-high to high heat. You have to use a special spoon. It's part of the recipe. This is mine. Now we start with oil, and then you add your peppers, onions, and garlic. Just start to mix it, and it should start making that lovely sizzling sound in a few minutes. While you wait, you want to start adding some of your spices, probably about 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon of each. I do this because of something that I learned when I was trying to do some Indian cooking. Basically, you cook your spices first. I don't remember why, but I'm pretty sure editing Leia can help us out. Oops. Okay, I dropped way more cumin in there than intended, but that's okay. This dish is very heavy in cumin and chili powder, so we'll just add less later. Alright, just let it vibe out with a mix here and there until the sizzling starts to go off. Then it's time for turkey. Don't judge this turkey. She's been in the fridge for a few days because I was supposed to cook this the other day. So, she's doing her job. So this is when you're going to want to start adding your liquid aminos. The liquid aminos is what's going to give this dish that meaty flavor that taco meat has, like if you're using beef or something. If you're doing a veggie version with meat substitute or mushrooms, you want to add more liquid aminos, maybe some shoyu or soy sauce to make up for it. This time I added about 1 tablespoon to 2 tablespoons just right in the beginning. Might have to add some more later. All right, mix. I didn't think about the steam in the camera. How does Tasty do this and not get all the steam everywhere? Okay, hold on. Gotta change my camera. Boom, new camera angle. All right. Like I said, this dish cooks fast, but the meat is already cooked. So add in everything else. Greens, mushrooms, spices. All right, so about 2 to 3 tablespoons of liquid aminos, 2 big tablespoons of cumin and chili powder, another little shake of turmeric to give it an earthy sort of taste, 1/2 teaspoon to a teaspoon of paprika to give it some depth. Paprika's not really there for flavor, but it's just there to give it a little oomph, you know? And another 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper. I can kind of tell from the smell that it's missing something, but I would definitely try and taste it and adjust it as you see fit. Like I said, the biggest flavor components are the chili and the cumin. More paprika will make it smoky, more liquid aminos will make it more umami and salty. You can even add like some cayenne to make it spicy. All right, and here's the cilantro. Thank you, Patrick. Towards the end, you're gonna add in your cilantro, if you have it or if you even like cilantro. You wanna add it in at the end because it's delicate, and if it cooks too long, it actually will lose its taste. If you noticed, I didn't add any additional salt. It came mostly from the aminos. I'm low sodium, so this is how I like it. I personally don't think it needs any extra salt. I know some people who prefer salty food, so just add to your taste, but add the salt at the end. Okay, so you know it's done when the peppers are cooked. This time I left them a little crispity crunchy, but you can cook them a little longer if you don't like them all crispy. We're done with the taco salad stuff. Now onto our beans. Like I said, this time I'm using canned beans because I'm lazy and I'm still trying to learn how to make these from scratch. So using the canned beans, pretty easy. Add it in the pan, add some cilantro, add some garlic powder. Does anyone hate when garlic powder like clumps up like this? All right, and a little more cumin. How do you say cumin? Do you say it like cumin or cumin? I say cumin. Anyway, if you're making this from scratch, you also want to throw a bay leaf in there. So it's gonna be like, yummy. Yeah, so when the beans are warmed through, it's done. All right, time to clean the kitchen and then we can eat. Patrick is going to prepare his dish, so what do you got in here, Pat?
Got some lettuce, some cheese, and a little bit of salsa.
For mine, I set up my dish a little differently. I'm gonna add some romaine lettuce for crunch. By the way, always cut with scissors when you can. Saves so much time. But don't forget to actually clean your scissors. Clean them, wash them. All right. Mix in some fresh lettuce. These are from the garden, but I also like to use some spring mix from the store. Bit of the beans, our taco stuff. Oh man, I forgot an avocado. I like to make fresh guac with this, but I forgot today. All right, anyway, I do a daisy, but not Daisy, another brand. Anyway, this is my favorite salsa of all times. All right, I get it from Costco and I put an ungodly amount. I know, it's delicious. And then the secret ingredient, crushed tortilla chips. It's just so good. Tortilla strips, who? We don't know her. Save some money. Just crush your chips. But seriously, tortilla strips are so expensive. Just buy a bag of chips, crush them up, or just save the ending part of the chips and throw it in your salad. All right, we can eat. Yes. This is it. I'm tired. This is delicious. Crushed up tortilla chips. Bon appetit. No. Just kidding. Are you enjoying it? Okay. All right, I'm gonna eat because I can't talk anymore because it's just so good. All right, bye. If you made it to the end of the video, you get to know a secret. I'm actually recording this after the fact. This is a voiceover, and my head is in my dog bed to make it quiet. Yeah.